confirmed that the U.S. will also comply with the ceasefire with respect to the Taliban. They say that offensives against other militants will continue unchanged. NATO has also endorsed the plan, urging both sides to seek more peace talks. NATO's position makes it somewhat surprising that the U.S. is on board, as President Trump has been very publicly opposed to talks with the Taliban. That said, it would be difficult for the U.S. to totally spurn a ceasefire called by their allies. This means it remains an open question how closely the U.S. will comply with it and how many times they attack Taliban, claiming that they thought they were the Islamic State or some other faction. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a judge on Thursday sentenced a former Baltimore Police Department officer convicted of committing a host of crimes to 25 years in prison. U.S. District Court Judge Catherine C. Blake sentenced former Gun Trace Task Force Sergeant Wayne Jenkins to the 25-year sentence for his role as a leader of a police corruption ring, according to the Baltimore Sun. Jenkins pled guilty in January to a number of charges that included racketeering and robbery in an agreement that capped his possible prison time at 30 years. Jenkins inflicted immeasurable harm by stealing drugs on a near-daily basis for years, helping commit robberies, and charging overtime pay for time he did not work, according to Assistant U.S. Attorney Leo Weiss. The 37-year-old former ringleader of a corrupt police unit sobbed during his testimony as he apologized to Baltimore residents. Jenkins said, "I know it's my fault. I know I have to be punished." He specifically apologized to the family of Albert Davis, a man killed in a 2010 high-speed car chase that started when Jenkins and a pair of officers suddenly approached two men who later said that they thought they were being robbed. The man crashed during the chase, killing Davis. Jenkins said Thursday police planted drugs in their car, a fact that he had previously covered up. His colleagues Marcus Taylor and Daniel Herschel on the Gun Trace Task Force were convicted in February on federal charges of racketeering, robbery, and overtime fraud. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports a divided Mississippi Supreme Court ruled on Thursday that some local judges acted unconstitutionally by banning people with enhanced concealed carry licenses from taking guns into the courthouse. The court said judges of the 14th Chancery District, which includes 6 counties in east central Mississippi, exceeded their authority under the state constitution because only the legislature could regulate or forbid the carrying of concealed weapons. Justice Michael Randolph wrote for a 5-justice Supreme Court majority, "The orders at issue usurp that power. No matter how well-intentioned, judges are without power to limit enhanced concealed carry licensees' rights to carry a firearm beyond courtrooms in the state of Mississippi." A 2011 law allowed people with enhanced concealed carry licenses to take firearms into Mississippi state courthouses, though judges could ban the weapons from the courtroom. Ricky Ward, a firearms instructor, had challenged the broader ban in the 14th Chancery District. He appealed after its judges noted that the district's courthouses were built many years ago and not designed to properly secure courtrooms. 2 dissenting justices from Thursday's decision found the broader ban unconstitutional. 2 other justices partially dissented, saying the ban appeared overbroad, but that a narrower version might pass muster. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Shortly after being fired from his coding position at a downsizing tech firm, 34-year-old Irvine native Sam Morrison told reporters Monday that he believed he had finally achieved the sort of work-life balance for which he has long strived.
Ever since I got fired, it just seems like my whole entire routine is just clicking. I go for jogs in the afternoon, spend nights with my wife and kid. I'm even cooking more. Everything just feels right.
Morrison, who since his termination has found time to pick up reading again, eat a healthy diet, and sleep more than 5 hours a night, noted that his unemployment has allowed him to find a level of harmony in his personal life that he never before thought possible.
For a while there, I thought that I was going to spend the rest of my life constantly worrying about getting to the office on time and pleasing my boss. Outside of the late payments on the house, the mounting credit card debt, the rapidly depleting savings, my life is essentially stress-free. I honestly couldn't be happier.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, where you can join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
And Chris.
And we'll give you the toll-free call-in line here momentarily. Again, you are free to call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. But we also have things on our minds. And one of those things, Chris, you and I both had the same exact article that we have brought into the studio tonight. And you had asked, hey, have you seen this? And as a matter of fact, I have.
That must be good luck. I think that's good luck for a story when two different hosts bring in the exact same story. That is a good omen.
And I have only seen the headline. I've not had a chance to actually read this article yet, but it was a headline that caught my attention.
You bet.
And let me read the headline now, and then, Chris, you can jump into the article. Headline from CNN Politics: Trump will ask athletes who kneel during anthem to recommend people for pardoning. And
what?
it blew my mind, because wasn't it like 3 weeks ago Donald Trump said that if you don't stand during the national anthem, you should be deported?
Yep, that was his sentiment. And this entire protest done by certain athletes in the NFL was always about treatment of citizens by police, mistreatment. Yes. And whether
the protests have actually spread to other sports, but it's primarily the NFL.
Sure, certainly.
Because the NFL is one of the few where there was a rule that said that all players and team personnel must be on the sideline during the playing of the national anthem.
Correct. They had put some rules in there subsequent. Was it subsequent to their contract with the Department of Defense or before?
I think it was after.
Okay.
But they recently changed the rules to where they said that if you are on the sidelines, you must stand. If you don't wish to stand, you can stay in the locker room.
Right.
And prior to, what was it, like 2008, 2009, whenever they got that contract with the DOD for, we're going to have flyovers and you got to play this special song and wave the magic cloth. If the song was played and the cloth was waved, there was no requirement that players be on the field.
Right, or do anything. But a lot of them did. You know, a lot of them felt patriotic, and that's okay. But it's interesting that in all the hubbub about this ruling and about these players, taking a knee, instantly we had people that were like, well, you don't love our troops. And that was never what this was about.
Right.
It was about the constitutional mistreatment of certain people within society. And to make it a false narrative doesn't do the issue or your complaint about the players any justice.
Right, but see, that's one of those tactics that a lot of people take to where they then put someone on the defensive. And as long as you're answering somebody else's question, you're not getting your message out.
Yep. And it was really interesting. We've seen it spread
So why do you hate penguins, Chris?
Yeah, exactly. And we've seen it spread to a lot of different things. There have been a lot of news stories about, for example, politicians or people in public meetings who just, didn't stand up during the pledge or during the, Star Spangled Banner or whatever.
Right.
But the important thing I think to remember out of this, which gets lost, is, like Darryl said, this is not since time eternal have players stood in like 1914 for the playing of the baseball and standing for the national anthem. It never happened. The big news, which I felt it was the Department of Defense signing a huge contract with the NFL to bring these patriotic displays into the public eye. And they got paid a lot of money for that. And they continue to do so. And I shouldn't say they get paid a lot of money for it. You pay them a lot of money for that. Your tax dollars are going to make sure that NFL games are filled with patriotic displays. That's your tax dollars.
Right. And, what was most surprising to me was, sort of this 180 from Donald Trump, from saying you should be deported from this country,
right,
and canceling the Philadelphia Eagles visit,
right,
to now saying, okay, well, recommend people to be pardoned.
It's like somebody just told the Donald what this whole thing was about after a year.
Yeah, so let's jump into the article. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
Happily. And again from CNN Politics, Washington. President Donald Trump said he wants to meet with NFL players and other athletes who kneel during the national anthem so they can recommend people they think should be pardoned due to unfair treatment by the justice system.
All right, let's pause here. Chris, as you know, I do a good bit of running.
You run. He runs. He runs like Forrest Gump. Every time you turn around, Darryl's running somewhere.
And there are some of the races where they will play the national anthem.
Okay.
If I happen to be standing when it's played, I just turn around because I see kneeling as an act of submission.
Okay.
If you go back and look, in olden times, what would someone do when they met a king?
Sure.
Or when they surrendered to someone else?
Or
they dropped down to a knee.
Or in Game of Thrones. Yes, absolutely.
So I turn my back.
Okay.
If I happen to be sitting, I remain seated. I'm not a professional athlete. So if I wind up, Donald Trump happens to hear Darryl Perry wound up, not saluting the flag. Can I recommend people to be pardoned?
That's a great question. I think one for the White House press secretary. You need to get in. First, you need to get into a White House press briefing, and you need to pose that problem.
Sarah Sanders, if you happen to be listening, please call in 855-450-FREE. I have a list of people that I would like to see pardoned.
There you go. In what he seemingly sees as a solution, President Donald Trump said he wants NFL players and other athletes who kneel during the national anthem. Quote, I'm going to ask them to recommend to me people who were unfairly treated, unquote, Trump said at the White House on Friday. Trump's contestuous relationship with the NFL reached a peak last year when he lambasted players who took a knee during the national anthem to protest institutional racism and police brutality. Quote, you have a lot of people in the NFL in particular, but in sports leagues, they are not proud enough to stand for our national anthem. I don't like that, unquote, Trump said Friday, also insisting that players should not remain in the locker room when the Star-Spangled Banner is playing.
Now, again, he's completely conflating what he thinks is the reason people aren't standing with the actual reason that people aren't standing during the playing of the national anthem.
Exactly.
They're not proud enough.
Yeah.
Why should they be? Why should I be proud of other people's achievements? Wow. That guy climbed Mount Everest that time, and he's from my home area, so therefore I climbed Mount Everest. No, I never climbed Mount Everest. Darryl Perry has never climbed Mount Everest.
Well, and Americans have a long history. This is part of what we do. We take credit for things that have been done in the past. Doug Stanhope, the famous comedian,
I love that bit that he does
a great bit where he's sitting there, you French, we saved you from the Nazi horde in World War II, and he's like
that was you and me, Tommy. I knew I blacked out and got drunk, but I didn't realize we saved the French last night.
I remember going to Taco Bell, but that's the sort of thing, and I understand why people feel pride in their tribe. They feel pride in their country. They feel like they live in a great place, and there are a lot of worse places on the earth I can think of that I wouldn't want to live in, but I wouldn't take credit for everything that has ever happened in the United States no more than I'm going to take credit for you running a couple miles today.
Right.
Yeah.
And, this whole thing of when we point out it could be better here, we're not saying this is the worst place in the entire universe.
Right.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Dynovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dynovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Good technology is good, but the philosophy behind the tech is important. And Zencash was made by voluntarists with the ideas of voluntary interaction being embedded into the white paper. With no central authority or single point of failure, Zencash is more resilient than a traditional corporation. Everyone has an equal opportunity to participate in decision-making, which empowers stakeholders and makes Zencash less susceptible to third-party influence. And Zencash allows for secure private transactions. Learn more at zencash.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That's how you can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. We're talking about Donald Trump's, apparent 180 on the stand for the national anthem thing, to where just a few weeks ago he was saying that people that don't stand should be deported. Now he's saying, all right, let's have a meeting and you give me a list of people that should be pardoned, people that have been unfairly treated. All right, I've got an entire list that I could give you right now if you consider amateur athletes not standing for the Pledge of Allegiance or the national anthem. If you're letting me have a meeting with you, Donald Trump, I'll give you a list.
Right.
But we'll jump back into that in just a moment. But another type of list, one that you might want to take advantage of, can be found over at liberty.menu. That's a list of businesses, events, digital content, and more. And it's a directory of those things for liberty-minded businesses. The listings can be rated and reviewed, and there's also a bit of a social networking aspect where you can connect and share with other users. Use of liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at liberty.menu. Use code FTL to get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. That's liberty.menu. Now, before we jump back into the article, let's go to the Skype where we've got a mortified penguin calling in. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, guys. Yeah, it's Mortified Penguin from the LRN Discord, giving you guys a call. Shout out to the LRN Discord, everybody in Free Talk Live channel and in the Toxic
Yeah, we generally don't allow shout outs, so just go ahead and get to whatever your topic is.
But point noted.
Yeah. Especially our friend James from Arizona. But anyways, I wanted to just do a continuation of our firearm discussion since I heard we were going to have Chris on tonight instead of other Chris.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what really bugged me, we were talking about firearm safety the other day specifically, and I mean, firearms being a pretty popular topic with the libertarian crowd, is the idea that you should have a safety on your gun or a manual safety, and that not being on or being present on the gun kind of renders the gun unsafe. Most modern pistols, and with some exceptions, don't use a lever that you flip on and off as a safety. That's just been, it's become obsolescent technology. I'm sure you know that, Chris. I don't doubt you have too many modern pistols with that kind of feature.
That's correct. And with the advent of the striker-fired pistol, the idea that a gun can have internal safeties that sort of prohibit accidental discharge when it's being carried or when it's being used, or moved from one place to another in a responsible manner, that you really don't need it. No, everybody's heard of a Glock. Glocks actually have 3 separate safeties, but there is no single switch on a Glock that says this is safe, and this is fire. It doesn't have one of those, but to fire a Glock, for example, your finger has to be completely inside the trigger guard. It has to be in full contact with the trigger, and the trigger must be held all the way back until the gun goes bang. And it's not like in the movies where you see a pistol being dropped out of somebody's pocket and it goes off. That's not how these things are designed. They're designed to be basically safe, and they're also designed, and why I like Glocks and other striker-fired pistols is the idea that there's nothing that slows me down or stops me if I need to use it. It's just all right there, and it's ready to go, and I can still be inherently safe when I move from place to place.
Yeah, technological innovation is really, the marketplace has chosen that's the most effective combination of safeties. The Glock trigger safety, the gun pistols are always drop safe. You can't drop it and they go off. You can't mishandle it in any way and have it go off accidentally because the trigger has to be pulled back before the mechanism even goes. So, I think the idea was that manual safety pretty much breeds probably false security and false confidence, because to be honest with you, if you're a reckless or stupid person, you really can't fix that. And having a switch, that probably didn't prove to really prevent too much reckless use of firearms, your accidental discharge.
True. And one thing any firearms instructor will tell you, any good one will tell you, is yes, you may have a safety on the gun, but don't trust it. don't trust anything about it. Don't trust anything mechanical to prevent an accident from occurring. You can't, because anything mechanical is prone to malfunction. That's what happens. And guns in and of themselves can malfunction.
I'm not necessarily a gun guy, but I know the rules of firearms, and the first rule is you always assume that the gun is loaded.
Right.
Even if you're picking it up off of the shelf at the gun store, just assume it is loaded until you verify for yourself that it is not.
Correct.
And I've heard numerous stories of people that thought their gun was unloaded, go to clean it, and then blow a finger off.
Yeah, and there's a modification of that. That is if it's in my house, be assured that it actually is loaded.
I'm just going to assume that it is, because that's the first rule.
Yeah, but that's an important thing to remember. And for anybody, particularly if you're new to firearms, I don't want to dissuade you in any way whatsoever from exercising your right of defending yourself and your family against those who may wish to do you harm. I would encourage that for anyone who feels they are capable, able, and can demonstrate the personal responsibility that comes with carrying something that can literally take a life on your hip or keeping it in your home. I mean, but it's a very important thing. But don't ever hesitate. First of all, never think that you've already got it all figured out. Don't believe that you've already learned everything there is about safe handling of a gun, and that you've got it all and you don't need anything else to learn. I'm reminded of the video of the firearms instructor who that was a DEA firearm instructor, I believe. I believe so.
Told this class of people, I'm the only person in this room qualified to handle these guns, and he goes to holster something and shoots himself in the leg.
Yeah, and these types of things happen. Go ahead.
That was one of the first up until the most recent video we were talking about. I'm sure everybody's seen it by now.
Right.
The black flipper.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's the thing, is you don't stop learning. You never let yourself rest. You never allow yourself to get complacent, and it's not easy, but it's the right thing to do. And I applaud anybody out there who takes the responsibility of self-defense into their own hands and doesn't rely on someone else to do it for them. If you call the police, when seconds count, police are only minutes away.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to recap on those rules of firearm safety, it's very simple. You always assume a gun's loaded. That one's, everybody's pretty much heard that. You don't point it at anything you're not willing to destroy. I mean, someone's not going to walk in the room and you turn towards them with the pistol in your hand or the shotgun or whatever. And I've seen that trigger discipline has infiltrated popular culture from what I've seen online.
Right.
People know.
Mortified Penguin, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
It's a no-brainer. A Big Berkey water filter is the one you need, period. You need a water filter that removes chlorine, fluoride, pharmaceuticals, BPA, and other endocrine disruptors, pesticides, bacteria, viruses, and much more, right? And does it all at only 2 cents per gallon. Get the original, most trusted name in gravity water filtration, Big Berkey. And now GCN listeners receive 5% off ceramic filter systems using code GCN. Call or click 1-877-99-BERKEY or BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. That's 1-877-99-BERKEY.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
My name is Angel Rach. I'm a mother of 2 teenage children, and I fought all the way to the Supreme Court for the right to use the medicine that saved my life. I've been permanently disabled for 10 years, with an inoperable brain tumor, wasting syndrome, and several other serious conditions. For 4 years, I was in a wheelchair, in so much pain, I couldn't even hug my kids. The hardest part was looking in their eyes and seeing how much they were suffering because of my medical condition. The medicine that gave me my life back and gave my kids their mom back was cannabis, also known as medical marijuana. With medical marijuana, I can walk, maintain my weight, and I can be a mom. Without it, my doctors believe that I would die. To learn more about medical marijuana, contact Marijuana Policy Project at 1-877-JOIN-MPP or on the web at mpp.org.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Chris.
And, yeah, it was mentioned earlier, the Discord. So, well, let me go ahead and tell you how you can find it. You can go to discord.lrn.fm. Chris, you actually use it, so can you explain what it is?
There is no way to explain Discord. One must experience Discord. Now, Discord is it's a series of text chat rooms. So there's ones on cryptocurrency, on gaming, on different shows like Declare Your Independence and Call to Freedom, Free Talk Live. You can talk about the shows as they're going on. And there's also voice chat. So periodically you'll see that there's 3 or 4 Free Talk Live listeners that are just chatting to each other, and sometimes hosts pop up in these various chats too.
And sometimes people chat with themselves.
They do sometimes.
And I thought you were going to say it's a series of tubes. Who was it that described the internet as a series of tubes? Was that George Bush?
I have no idea. I've never heard that.
Yeah, there was some politician guy that described the internet as a series of tubes. Discord.lrn.fm. We'll get back into the story about Donald Trump and, well, seemingly pulling a 180 from wanting to deport athletes that did not stand during the national anthem to wanting to meet with them. Again, we'll jump back into that story. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. We've got Brian calling in from Marietta, Georgia. Brian, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, guys. Just wanted to bring up an issue that's happening here in the local area. Down here in Cobb County, Georgia, the county borrowed $397 million to build SunTrust Park, the new home of the Atlanta Braves.
Only $397 million. All right.
Now they have a budget shortfall in the parks budget of $30 million. So they can't afford that, but they can afford a bond issue for $397 million.
Unreal. So the voters are being asked to sign on for this great bond that they're going to get all this money to build a stadium with, and I guess finish fixing up their parks. That's it.
Well, the usual promises of economic development, of course.
Right. Oh, you guys are going to be
It's
rolling
going to bring
in
all of these jobs, but what they don't tell you is that it only brings in jobs during the construction.
Yeah, there are always ongoing jobs, and...
Oh, the concession jobs that people currently have in the existing stadium?
Correct.
Yeah, those jobs just get moved to the new stadium. It's not extra jobs.
But I am going to say, I'm going to say that there is an I'm not going to deny that there is an economic benefit to having major sports teams playing in a certain area, and that will follow some amount of businesses, and you can count on, like, right around that stadium, if there isn't one already, there's going to be a developing nightclub and bar district. For example, there's going to be more restaurants that are going to pop up and hotels right around there.
Right. Now, one thing that I will say is that generally the first 2 to 3 years after a new stadium gets built,
right,
attendance goes up just a little bit because everybody wants to go see the new stadium.
Sure.
Oh, well, I've already seen a game at Olympic Stadium. I don't need to go watch another one. I've already seen a game at Turner Field. I don't need to go watch another. Oh, I've not been to this new one. I got to go see what this new stadium is like.
Right. And new restaurants and things like that. But what I am saying is, as Darryl is saying, this stuff fades. It fades relatively quickly, and the numbers that governments are going to throw out there in front of you are going to be the highest pie-in-the-sky numbers for economic impact of any new stadium. Now, which team do they... Is
the
this
Atlanta
for?
Braves.
This is the Atlanta Braves Stadium, and where's that at now? I'm somewhat familiar with the Atlanta area.
It's now in Cobb County, which is just a little bit north of Atlanta.
Okay. And it's moving how far?
Right across the border.
Okay, so not that far. What town's that near? I'm sorry.
Smyrna.
Okay.
Would be the closest.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm still baffled as far as why they moved out of the Olympic Stadium in downtown Atlanta.
Right. Because
reasons. And it wasn't that long ago that they moved to this new one.
Right. And it would be really nice if, and here's the other aspect of this, regardless of what sport we're talking about, this is going to be shouldered. The cost of this stadium and the cost of most expenses are not going to be shouldered by the Atlanta Braves organization.
Right.
They're not going to be shouldered specifically by fans of the Atlanta Braves organization. They're going to be shouldered by taxpayers.
Right.
Probably mostly of that immediate area, and probably some state money will come into it too. But it's just a ripoff, and nobody can look at you with a straight face and tell you that this makes good economic sense for the for that area. What it does make great economic sense for is the Atlanta Braves organization,
right,
and local politicians who are going to spend the next couple of years talking about all the great jobs, and this is why you need to reelect me, and all the money I'm bringing home to you, and they're going to keep touting that until it doesn't happen, and then they're going to move on to where are we going to put the Atlanta Falcons?
We've got billionaire, and Brian, thank you for the call. We've got billionaire sports teams owners that are claiming poverty, and we need taxpayers to build my $400,000 or $400 million stadium.
Yeah, it's basically a bailout, except they don't need bailed out.
Right, and I would really like to know, what was the first team to do this whole, we're holding this area hostage and we're going to move our team unless you give us taxpayer money to build our stadium?
That's a good question. I don't know. It's so common anymore.
The Green Bay Packers, that's a community-owned team, to where the owner was going to move, not because I need Green Bay to build me a stadium. No, it was during that time period to where... Right. All of the teams were moving into big cities, and the owner, I don't know who it was, wanted to move the team, but the community came around and said, we will buy the team from you. and the Green Bay Packers are a community-owned team. But that's different than, say, the Oakland, LA, Las Vegas Raiders, whatever. The West Coast Raiders. They just need to rename to the West Coast Raiders, and then they can move in whatever city they want to.
Yeah.
But Al Davis, he was popular for just bouncing the team back and forth between places, and they're going to be moving to Vegas soon. And that was another one of those things. Taxpayers are building this, $700 million stadium to lure in the Raiders.
Well, and what's even better is taxpayers are also helping to subsidize big businesses, because they certainly don't call it the Darryl W. Perry Stadium that the Atlanta Braves are going to play in.
Right.
It'll be called Prudential Stadium or CenturyLink Stadium or pick Gillette Stadium. There's always going to be that corporate.
Oh, that's where
corporate winner.
That's where the Patriots play, is Gillette.
Gillette, is that right?
Yeah. Now, speaking of corporate stadiums, and we will get back into this CNN article about Donald Trump, Wrigley Field, where the Cubs play, that's got the longest corporate sponsorship
Wrigley's
of
chewing
anything.
gum.
Right. But people don't really think of that as a corporate-sponsored stadium because it's had the same name for the longest time.
Right. But that one's been one forever. And that reminds me of a movie, and why can't I think of it? It was. Hold on, I'm googling it in such a way that I will find the name of the movie, and I can't. It was a movie about a movie being made.
The producers?
We're just going to drop this, and I'm going to come back, and I should be able to pull this up.
Yeah.
And it was a really good movie, and it's worth talking about.
So, and I'm guessing it had that guy
who was in that other movie with that chick. The girl was in that other thing.
Yeah,
I saw that. That was great.
Your calls and thoughts welcome, and hopefully Chris can figure out what he's trying to think of. Plus your calls and thoughts. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. Plus more on Donald Trump wanting to meet with some athletes.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite for life.
Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Bitcoin is losing crypto market share to other digital currencies. Bitcoin's astronomical rise has led to the creation of numerous competitors like Ethereum, Ripple, and Litecoin, which have also seen massive gains in value. According to Quartz, Bitcoin made up 85% of the crypto market 1 year ago, and today it has fallen to 36%. Remember, the only way to win in the casino is to take chips off the table. Call Miles Franklin at 866-485-4346 and let us show you how to quickly turn your Bitcoin into the 5,000-year-old safety of precious metals. Miles Franklin can quickly convert your Bitcoin to precious metals with one phone call at 866-485-4346. That's Miles Franklin celebrating our 29th year in business without ever receiving a customer complaint. Call us at 866-485-4346. Fast, easy, safe, and convert your Bitcoin into gold with one phone call.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people like passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855 450 free. That's 855 450 3733 855 45. Hold on. Why can I not remember that? I'm even trying to read it.
You're trying to remember.
855 450 3733. So I was reading and then thought that I was reading the wrong thing.
Wrong number? That's all right.
Yeah.
I
couldn't remember which 5 I was reading.
Well, you're better than Mark, who sometimes reads his own cell phone number over the air, which is always entertaining.
855 450 free. Now, we'll get back into your calls to the right number that I've given out correctly a couple of times, I think. Plus this article that we have brought in about Donald Trump. But first, I want to tell you about some really good technology with a good philosophy behind it, and that would be Zencash. Zencash was made by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being embedded into the white paper. And it's not just a cryptocurrency. They're working on so much more to where you can safely and securely transmit messaging, data, and use it as a currency. And Zencash allows for secure private transactions. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. Let's go to the phones where we've got Dodger calling in from the southwest of the Mitten. That's somewhere there in Michigan. Dodger, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Now, first off, as somebody, I don't have time to follow many sports, but football, is one of those sports that I actually have just enough time, especially since they only play 4 months out of the year. So I'm going to weigh in. First off, I'm a little upset at the San Diego Chargers moving to L.A. First off, L.A. didn't want them. Second off, the reason was because the taxpayers wouldn't pay for a new stadium.
Right.
Yes.
And that kind of upset me. Now, Oakland is a different story. The Raiders moving to L.A., they had a private person willing to build them a new stadium. But having said that, I actually kind of have a joke being a Michigander and being a regretful Lions fan.
All right.
After saying that. All right, so there's this farmer. He dies and he goes to hell, and Satan decides that he's going to make his life especially hard, and he's going to have to bust rocks. So he sits there and he busts rocks, and after some time, Satan comes back, and this guy's happy, and he says, well, why are you happy? He says, well, this reminds me of home. So Satan turns up the heat, and comes back a little while later, and the guy is still busting the rocks, happy as hell. And Satan says, well, why are you so happy? He says, well, this still reminds me of home. So he turns the temperature way down, and all of a sudden there's a blizzard. And Satan comes back a little while later, and this guy is happier than ever. And he said, Lord, I mean, I have you busting rocks for all eternity. I turned up the heat. You were happy. Why are you so happy that I turned on the heat? He said, well, hell froze over. The Lions must have made it to the Super Bowl.
Dodger, thank you for the call and the joke. I guess we could call that the Dodger joke of the week.
We could. He could have a regular segment if he calls in every Friday.
Yes. As I thought I recalled correctly, the Raiders are relocating to Las Vegas, and, well, they're having to pay a fine to the NFL for relocating, but they're getting a stadium built for them.
Right.
Yeah. So let's jump back into this article about Donald Trump. And Chris, you want to give a recap about why we're talking about Donald Trump and sports?
Yeah. Well, Trump came out today, and CNN has the headline, Trump will ask athletes who kneel during the anthem to recommend people for parole, for pardoning, and which makes us believe that Donald Trump at least has been told what the original protests were about. And the protests were about treatment of certain people by law enforcement, unfair treatment within our justice system, and things like that. Most of the conversation, if you've heard people talking about that, 99% of the time you say, well, those NFL players don't respect our military. They have no love of our country.
Right.
And that's not what they've been doing. They have been trying to bring some notice to the fact that we have lots of police brutality and lots of institutionalized racism within our country. So Donald Trump came out, and first of all, I'm going to read his last two quotes here. I'm going to ask them to recommend to me people who were unfairly treated, Trump said at the White House Friday. Trump's contentious relationship with the NFL reached a peak last year when he lambasted players who took a knee during the national anthem to protest institutionalized racism and police brutality. And then he follows that up with, you have a lot of people in the NFL in particular, but in sports leagues, they're not proud enough to stand for our national anthem. I don't like that, Trump said Friday, which is pretty much the reverse of what he had said just prior to that. Also insisting that players should not remain in the locker room when the Star-Spangled Banner is playing.
Right. Again, he's conflating, hey, I don't like what the police are doing with, I'm not proud of the country. What?
Right.
Those are two completely different things.
No, and don't make it like that's a Donald Trump thing. That's an all of America thing. There are millions of people that were just, apoplectic because, my God, Colin Kaepernick decided to take a knee during.
Right, and there are people that when we point out that the U.S. military has killed civilians, they'll say, well, not everybody in the military killed somebody.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing here is we are not. I don't know of anyone on the show who is stating that every single person who has ever put on a uniform is inherently evil, even the most virulent among our hosts.
Right.
But I think it's personally I feel it's very sad that young men and women are being placed in harm's way because of the goals of politicians. And to serve the people that really control our world, and those are very, very wealthy and powerful people.
Yeah, let's continue with Trump's quotes here.
Quote, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say to them instead of talk, I'm going to ask all of those people to recommend to me, because that's what they're protesting, people who they think are unfairly treated by the justice system. unquote, Trump said. And I understand that. I hope he does. He said, quote, if the athletes have friends of theirs or people they know about that have been unfairly treated by the system, let me know, unquote.
Now, I'm curious if he's, offering this up as sort of a, ha, gotcha. You don't actually know anybody that's been unfairly treated. You just think that people have been unfairly treated. Give me names. Come on, Chris. Tell me a name right now of somebody that's been unfairly treated.
Russell.
See, you paused there for half a second. You don't know anybody, and that's what I think he's trying to do. Is he's trying to put them on the spot and hope that they can't think of anyone. But that's not what's going to happen. You're going to have people that come up with some names.
Well, yeah, and there was just a case. I'm pulling it up here. Andrew Hawkins, who was a former NFL wide receiver. I don't know who he played for, but he made the viral video rounds, I think about 2 months ago, for getting his butt kicked by police for no good reason. And somebody
Cincinnati
happened to...
Bengals in the NFL and the Montreal Alouettes in the Canadian League.
Yeah, so he was not just a thug walking down the street. He happened to be a former NFL player who, police didn't like his answers and they kind of took it out on him.
Right.
And that's not to say that everyone arrested by the police is a good person and may not deserve being taken into custody. Trump called his presidential power to pardon people a, quote, beautiful thing, unquote, adding that you've, quote, got to get it right, unquote, the president. Also floating a pardon for posthumous boxing great Muhammad Ali, although the athlete's attorney said that is unnecessary because the Supreme Court overturned his previous conviction.
Now, there was a former boxing champion that was recently posthumously pardoned by Donald Trump.
Yes.
And that would be Jack Johnson.
Yes, and that was suggested, I believe, by Sylvester Stallone.
Well, that's been something that has been suggested for multiple decades.
Well,
but recently by Stallone.
Into Trump's ear. And here's my problem with the whole thing. You should be doing the right thing. You shouldn't be waiting on friends or powerful people to suggest someone is pardoned.
But Kim Kardashian said that thing that time, so gotta do
right.
it.
Yeah.
This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
I tried other brands, but I came back to my Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck, or back, or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long-distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
Our homegrown small business tries to help people just like us. That's why we design and test our handmade products with great care before we introduce them to the public. You can easily find Sunny Bay heating pads on Amazon. Just go to Amazon.com and search for Sunny Bay heating pads.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, June 8th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.79 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,299 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $22, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,552. Antiwar.com reports Afghan President Ashraf Ghani has announced an unconditional ceasefire on Thursday, vowing no attacks will take place against the Taliban for the duration of Ramadan, ending on the Eid celebration on June 20th. This comes amid reports of secret peace talks ongoing in Afghanistan. While no one seems to agree how far these talks have progressed, the ceasefire is the first Ghani has confirmed since taking power in 2014. U.S. Commander General John Nicholson has confirmed that the U.S. will also comply with the ceasefire with respect to the Taliban. They say that offensives against other militants will continue unchanged. NATO has also endorsed the plan, urging both sides to seek more peace talks. NATO's position makes it somewhat surprising that the U.S. is on board, as President Trump has been very publicly opposed to talks with the Taliban. That said, it would be difficult for the U.S. to totally spurn a ceasefire called by their allies. This means it remains an open question how closely the U.S. will comply with it and how many times they attack Taliban, claiming that they thought they were the Islamic State or some other faction. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a judge on Thursday sentenced a former Baltimore Police Department officer convicted of committing a host of crimes to 25 years in prison. U.S. District Court Judge Catherine C. Blake sentenced former Gun Trace Task Force Sergeant Wayne Jenkins to the 25-year sentence for his role as a leader of a police corruption ring, according to the Baltimore Sun. Jenkins pled guilty in January to a number of charges that included racketeering and robbery in an agreement that capped his possible prison time at 30 years. Jenkins inflicted immeasurable harm by stealing drugs on a near-daily basis for years, helping commit robberies, and charging overtime pay for time he did not work, according to Assistant U.S. Attorney Leo Weiss. The 37-year-old former ringleader of a corrupt police unit sobbed during his testimony as he apologized to Baltimore residents. Jenkins said, "I know it's my fault. I know I have to be punished." He specifically apologized to the family of Albert Davis, a man killed in a 2010 high-speed car chase that started when Jenkins and a pair of officers suddenly approached two men who later said that they thought they were being robbed. The man crashed during the chase, killing Davis. Jenkins said Thursday police planted drugs in their car, a fact that he had previously covered up. His colleagues Marcus Taylor and Daniel Herschel on the Gun Trace Task Force were convicted in February on federal charges of racketeering, robbery, and overtime fraud. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports a divided Mississippi Supreme Court ruled on Thursday that some local judges acted unconstitutionally by banning people with enhanced concealed carry licenses from taking guns into the courthouse. The court said judges of the 14th Chancery District, which includes 6 counties in east central Mississippi, exceeded their authority under the state constitution because only the legislature could regulate or forbid the carrying of concealed weapons. Justice Michael Randolph wrote for a 5-justice Supreme Court majority, "The orders at issue usurp that power. No matter how well-intentioned, judges are without power to limit enhanced concealed carry licensees' rights to carry a firearm beyond courtrooms in the state of Mississippi." A 2011 law allowed people with enhanced concealed carry licenses to take firearms into Mississippi state courthouses, though judges could ban the weapons from the courtroom. Ricky Ward, a firearms instructor, had challenged the broader ban in the 14th Chancery District. He appealed after its judges noted that the district's courthouses were built many years ago and not designed to properly secure courtrooms. 2 dissenting justices from Thursday's decision found the broader ban unconstitutional. 2 other justices partially dissented, saying the ban appeared overbroad, but that a narrower version might pass muster. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
The NFL announces a new zero-tolerance policy on videotape domestic violence. A puzzled nation can remember the name Ferguson, but is not sure from where. And a man wearing an M&M jacket is apparently made in God's image. This is the Onion Week in Review. Tech giant Apple unveiled a brief, fleeting moment of excitement to the general public. The short-lived, ephemeral sense of wonder was released in front of an exclusive group of reporters and industry insiders at Apple's Silicon Valley headquarters.
Apple really made us wait, but this rapidly diminishing glimmer of pleasure was totally worth it. It was 100% better than any other temporary joys I've ever experienced.
And in this week's local news, an uneasy détente forms between a man sitting on a patio and a bee. In other news, a poll finds 80% of Americans would get in a vehicle with a stranger for a chance at a new life. Bank of America introduces a new $50 underdraft fee, and the nation's huggers announce plans for you to get over here.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, kicking off our number 2 in studio. It's Darryl
and Chris.
And you can join us by dialing toll-free 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And, you know, I'm still trying to figure out why I had such a hard time remembering the number. But you know what? There have been times when I have given someone my telephone number and just forgot where I was in the numbers.
It happens.
It's like, wait, did I just give you the area code, or where was I there? So we've been talking about Donald Trump and his apparent change of heart here in regards to meeting with protesting professional athletes. Specifically, ones from the National Football League that have been taking knees during the playing of the national anthem and who in the coming year will likely wind up be sitting in the locker room, something that Trump is not a fan of. He says that players should not be allowed to remain in the locker room during the playing of the Star-Spangled Banner. He also says that they shouldn't be allowed to take a knee or to sit. But if you're going to do one of those two things, then, well, put up or shut up. Give me a list of people that have been unfairly treated, since that's apparently why you're protesting. So come on, give me some names. Oh, you didn't give me a name fast enough. See, you're not serious.
Well, we don't know that yet. We don't know what Donald is going to do with these
we don't
people
know,
that
but
he
we
hears.
can speculate.
Well, he's had a fairly good run of pardoning celebrities and people with celebrity status, and don't forget Scooter Libby. Everybody forgot Scooter Libby, all right.
Yeah, I was hoping that we could forget Scooter Libby.
But he got a pardon. Scooter got pardoned by the president. So Scooter Libby worked for Dick Cheney during,
something like that.
Yeah, I think Dick Cheney during Bush's presidency, and was accused of some malfeasance and did some time. But Trump felt obligated to pardon Scooter.
Former advisor to Vice President Dick Cheney from 2001 to 2005. And, he wound up getting himself a pardon.
Yeah, so it's not always what you know, but sometimes it's who you know.
Right, and Trump has said that he's floated the idea of a posthumous pardon for boxing great Muhammad Ali.
He made big news, and he was very proud of this, this idea that he would pardon, the greatest, Muhammad Ali, who...
He told us that he was the greatest when he knocked out Sonny Liston.
Right, but the problem is he was already exonerated by the Supreme Court, so Muhammad Ali, when he passed away, was basically free and clear of any charges stemming from his refusal to go fight in Vietnam.
Right. So let's continue with the article here where it says last year Trump suggested to NFL owners that they get the SOBs off the field right now and fire the players who were not standing during the national anthem. Again, claiming that it was because they're unpatriotic and being disrespectful to the military.
Yeah, and this has been the biggest frustration with me. And as a libertarian, we're used to our words being twisted in other directions, and we don't like to see it happen to other people. But, Colin Kaepernick was very clear. He says, I'm doing this because there are a lot of people who are being mistreated by police. A lot of those people are black. There's a lot of miscarriage of justice, and our justice system does not always stand up for them. And you had other NFL players and other sports, other famous athletes who sort of jumped onto that message. And
this seems to be something, and I know that it's not just me that sees this, and I don't remember when it really started. The whole thing of when somebody says, I don't like X, oh, so therefore A? Well, no, there's a bunch of other letters.
Right. Yeah, it's a false argument.
I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. Oh, so you like Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders? No, there's a bunch of other options.
Yeah. And because, if people feel obligated or feel so moved to not stand during the national anthem, how am I to know what their reasoning is? But I do know this, that for people that aren't under some employment contract, like they may be inside the NFL or in other sports leagues, you have a freedom to not do that.
So there are people that claim that athletes in the NFL were required to stand. That is not now nor never been in the players' manual. It said that players should be on the field, or rather must be on the field, and should stand. Those are two different words.
Right.
Must means it is a requirement.
Sure.
Should means we strongly encourage you to.
Right. And that wasn't what I was saying when I made that statement. I'm just saying.
Right, but there are people that say, oh, well, see, it's in their employment contract that they have to, and so therefore they should be fired. Well, no, it was not in their contract.
All I'm saying is, if you do have a contract and you agree to do X, Y, and Z, if you fail to do X, Y, and Z, then your employer has every right to dismiss you.
Right.
That's okay. So like I've always said through this entire thing, if the NFL feels so moved, if they want to renegotiate contracts with God knows how many players and cheerleaders and everything else involved, to make that a requirement, feel free.
So the cheerleaders are not covered under the NFL players collective bargaining agreement. Cheerleaders are volunteers.
I get it, but I'm saying as an employer, they can write their contract however they want, and every free person has the right to either accept those terms or say, you know what, I'm not interested in playing.
As part of the employment agreement with particular athletes, there's the players union that they would do a collective bargaining instead of, no, you can't make the offensive lineman stand during the Pledge of Allegiance but exempt the kicker.
Right.
So that would be handled under the players union. But I do agree that if there's going to be a rule, but there's not a rule. Not now, nor has there ever been, but people want to say that there's a rule that's being violated. There's not a rule being violated.
Exactly. Last year, Trump suggested to NFL owners that they... you just read that one. I'm sorry.
Just read that.
Recently, the NFL implemented a new policy that teams could choose to require athletes, note the word there, that teams could choose to require athletes in their arenas to stand during the playing of the anthem. It also gave players the option of remaining off the field in the locker rooms during the playing of the anthem if they chose not to stand for it. A month after the league's announcement of the new policy, which Trump supports, the president canceled a visit from the Philadelphia Eagles to celebrate their Super Bowl win at the White House, instead hosting a celebration of the national anthem.
Right, and there were quotes from several players to where Trump wound up making a lot of really strange claims, and several players were like, yeah, that's not why anybody said they weren't going. They just didn't want to go.
Right. And some people were like, literally, I read one player who said, I've had a vacation scheduled for 3 months with my family, and I'd like to go to the White House and all, but that wasn't going to happen. So yeah, he made a big to-do out of that.
Oh, and they actually include part of the statement.
Yep. In a statement, Trump said the Eagles, quote, disagree with their president because he insists that they proudly stand for the national anthem, unquote. And that is just demonstrated to be completely false, and you're trying to make this an issue of nationalism, and that's what bothers me.
Right.
Nationalism is what was practiced very well by the Nazis in World War II. It was practiced very well by the U.S. and the Germans, on both sides in World War I. And it has been
China. They're really
Chinese,
good in China, North Korea.
North Korea, great examples. The idea that one must put the nation, this group of this political entity above everything else in your life, I don't agree with. And I believe personally that to ask someone to place a flag over their God is immoral.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open your Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. Blinkprotect.com/FTL to save 15%.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
Never, ever send a follow-up email asking, "Did you get my email?" Email 101. If it didn't bounce back undeliverable, it got where you sent it. And avoid transmedia pestering, like calling to ask, "Did you get my email?" or emailing to say, "I left you a voicemail." If your emails and voicemails aren't being acknowledged, your problem isn't technology, it's technique. Is your message concise and understandable? Have you boiled it down to seem as relevant as possible to the recipient? In other words, is it the opposite of spam or junk mail? All of this really matters if you're a job seeker. But even if you're not, with money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Chris.
And want to make sure that you know about a website that you can go to get all kinds of news about, well, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, and that would be news.bitcoin.com. Headline from just a couple of hours ago, Putin says cryptocurrency has its place. No state can have its own cryptocurrency, which seems to be sort of a different sort of statement from Putin, since there were previously reports that Russia was going to issue its own cryptocurrency, the crypto ruble.
Right.
So you can read that and much more. Again, it's not just Bitcoin news, it's all kinds of crypto news. They're at news.bitcoin.com. Still more from this article from CNN about Donald Trump's apparent change of heart of no longer wanting to deport athletes that don't stand for the national anthem and show what he deems to be the proper amount of patriotism. Now he wants to wind up meeting with them and getting list of people that might need to be pardoned. Again, we'll get back into that, but first to the Skype where we've got Neil calling in. Neil, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hello, guys. Nice to talk to you again. I don't always agree with you, and I guess this is one of those times.
Fair enough.
All right, go ahead.
When it comes to the athletes taking the knee during the national anthem, in my patriotic opinion, that is no time for them to do that. If they want to protest, if they got a big enough name that they can go out there and get public attention on their own and do this on their own time, fine. But do not be using the national television and the NFL to get their word out there. They're at work. They should be held to a higher standard.
It's interesting. So can I ask a personal question, Neil? Because
yeah, you can ask me anything you want to, buddy.
No problem. Do you stand up when they play the national anthem during games on TV?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I watch a live stream on Facebook Mondays through Friday. The guy's name is Chris Logan, Mr. Brutally Honest, and one of the first things he does when he starts out is him and his wife stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance, and I stand up and say that right along with him too.
Interesting.
Support this country, you should get the hell out of this country.
So kind of the love it or leave it. We're supposed to...
So, Neil, let me ask this question. Who gets to determine what sufficiently loving the country is?
You know, if you're out there waving a flag from another country, and if you're...
That's not what any of these players are doing.
Right.
If you're disrespecting our flag and the national
also
anthem,
not what they're doing.
Well, that's what they say, but the national anthem is not... about
Neil, hold on.
Let Neil finish. I want to hear this part. Go ahead. The national anthem is not about what?
It's not about cops beating blacks or people beating blacks. The national anthem is about what the national anthem is.
Which?
If they want to protest about cops beating up black people or all this other stuff going on, then get their own platform about that. But when it comes to the national anthem, it's not time to get out there and get on your knees. Respect the people that died for our rights.
Okay, would you also say that the national anthem and the Pledge of Allegiance and all these other things are to remind us of the importance of our system of government to remind us of our Constitution and the rights that are protected by it.
Yes, sir, I would.
There we go.
And that includes the freedom of speech and the freedom not to speak.
Right.
So, Neil, let me ask this question. I go to the New Hampshire State House a good bit, and a lot of the committee hearings will begin with saying the Pledge of Allegiance, and I sit quietly when other people recite their pledge. Should I be deported, and if so, to where?
Are you saying when they do the Pledge of Allegiance, you don't stand in respect for it?
I do not stand, and I don't recite it.
Well, you
should
don't have
I be deported?
I'm not saying you should be deported, but I'm saying...
Hold on, but you said earlier that people should be deported. Now you're saying that Darryl Perry should not be deported?
Well, I did ask you that before, and I said you subscribe to the love it or leave it, that if we don't sufficiently love our country and demonstrate it, regardless of whether we love it, if we don't demonstrate it in a way that makes you happy, we should leave it.
Well, okay, I did say yes.
So where should I go?
No, that's okay. Let's let him... I love this conversation, so please continue.
I mean, if you don't love it, yeah, you should... I do not support anybody that does not respect our country.
Okay.
If you don't love this country, you should not be in this country. But I'm not saying you should be deported.
Okay.
But I don't respect them.
I shouldn't be here, but I shouldn't be deported either. So does that mean that I should become a stateless human?
I'm not saying that the government should strip you of your citizenship and deport you.
Okay.
But in some cases, I wish we could do that.
Everybody would find that convenient. I want to tell you how much I love the people of this country, that I am willing to stand up to people who say that you must do things in the view of nationalism, and you must do things that may offend your personal beliefs, and you must do things that may even violate your religion because the state requires a certain level of servitude from you. I believe that to be an American is to stand up against crap like that and say no. If that person wishes to use his soapbox to profess something that is completely unpopular in face of humility, then that is that person's absolute constitutionally protected right to do it. In other words, put the Constitution over everything else. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Are you talking about the NFL now?
In this particular example, yes.
Well, I agree that they have the right to do whatever they want to do, but not while they're at work and not while they're on national television at work and using that platform and those television networks to get their message across. Do it on their own and see if they can get the cameras on themselves then.
I understand.
But hold on, you said they shouldn't do it in front of a camera, so if they do it somewhere where there's not a camera, then that would be fine with you, as long as there are no cameras? Or just not on a Sunday?
If they're not popular enough to get the network television cameras on them on their off time from work, then screw them.
But you said that they should not be able to do it in front of a camera. You're contradicting yourself, Neil.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
They should not be doing it at work.
I got one more question for you, and then I'm done, and you and Darryl can talk.
Okay.
You feel that this is the right thing for people to do, that they should stand for the national anthem, that they should be respectful when it's being played, and if they're doing the Pledge of Allegiance, they should do that. Can you describe to me why, for the previous 40 or 50 years of the NFL's history, there was nothing about this?
Hold on, Neil. We'll give you time to think about it.
Yeah.
And if you know, or if you've got thoughts on what should happen to people that don't stand, should we be executed? Should we be deported? 855-450-FREE. This is Free Talk Live.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
We call it the crapper, water closet, outhouse, or bathroom. But where do you go when there's nowhere to go? The answer is the Biffy Bag. The Biffy Bag is a pocket-sized disposable toilet that fits in your glove box, tackle box, toolbox, backpack, or purse. The Biffy Bag has everything you need for a sanitary and comfortable relief experience. It's ready to use in just seconds, and just toss it in the trash when you're done. It's your Biffy in a jiffy. BiffyBag.com. BiffyBag.com.
Free Talk Live.
They have to pass a law that all the guns that are currently there have to disappear in a puff of smoke. That's what they have to do.
Oh, wait, you mean the bad guys won't actually give up their firearms when the authorities come around to confiscate them?
It doesn't really matter that they won't give up their firearms because we're going to pass a law.
Oh, because we pass a law, they'll just all disappear.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Man, it's just amazing how powerful laws are.
Yes.
How just
laws aren't a bunch of dumb crap written on paper. They actually do something. It's really, really stupid.
What will be stupid is if they vote for it.
Yeah, if
take our guns.
You know, these criminals with the guns are going to kill people.
Yeah, they already are, apparently.
And if you don't have a weapon of your own, you're just as good as dead. Once the laws go into effect, that there shouldn't be any weapons anymore, because then they know that the good people don't have weapons.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Chris.
And maybe you want to interact, but you don't want to call in. Well, you can interact on the forums. Head over to forum.freetalklive.com, and there's a lot of different sub-forums on there where, again, you can interact with other listeners, you can interact with some hosts, and post on a variety of things. And again, it's a forum, like, the old school forums, but with newer software that makes it a lot better. And it's a lot better than, say, Facebook or Twitter. Forum.freetalklive.com. We've got Neil calling in on Skype. And Chris, you had asked a question towards the end of the final segment.
Yeah.
Re-ask the question, and then we'll bring Neil back on so he can answer.
Yeah, and we have been talking about the Pledge of Allegiance and whether it should be, whether players must stand during it. And my question to Neil was, what did NFL players do before the DOD contract required them to stand before 2009? So, from the beginning of the NFL until 2009, they were to remain in the locker room. They were not required to stand alongside the field. So we've got 50-plus years of what apparently is non-patriotic activity going on. So what did they do before 2009?
Am I on?
Yep, you're on.
I don't believe that before 2009 that was even an issue. Nobody took this stuff to the NFL TV and tried to get their message out there on the NFL's dime. I never heard about it.
No, nobody really ever heard of it because nobody was making a big deal out of it. The Star Spangled Banner would play, the national anthem would play, and then afterwards the players would rush out onto the field. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for your local sports team, and everybody would cheer.
Yay!
So here we have this going on for 50 years? How long's the NFL been around?
A lot longer than 50 years. It's coming up on close to 100.
Yeah, but what has been different is a lot of people putting a lot of emphasis on the idea of nationalism.
Mandatory patriotism.
Yeah, and I don't like to see people fall into that trap. It's not whether you agree or disagree. I'm just saying, if you look at a history of 100-plus-year-old organization where this was never done, and now people are getting apoplectic at the idea that people don't stand. And Neil, you were getting apoplectic. You're like, even when it plays on TV, I stand for the national anthem.
Hey, I love my country, and I can't help it.
I don't doubt you do. I don't doubt you do.
People have died protecting our country. I have relatives that died on Iwo Jima.
Yep.
In Vietnam.
I lost an uncle on D-Day on Normandy. Yeah.
Protecting our rights. And seeing what's going on these days, like that crowd of David Hogg and his little minions out there protesting to take our rights away, that really upsets me.
And I'm right there with you. I'm completely there with you. But what I won't do is deny a little tool, a little moron like David Hogg, his constitutionally protected right to free speech. That even that little moron gets to stand up. He gets to.
He's got his right, but what's pissing me off is Soros putting millions of dollars behind him and supporting him to try to disarm my country, and that really pisses me off, man.
I understand
Neil,
that.
Thank you for
Appreciate your
the call. And try getting a better connection. There was a lot of static on that connection. Generally, Skype
is
usually
pretty
better,
good.
But I don't know. I guess if you use a tin can to connect to the internet, I don't really know. Let's go to the phones where we've got Mark calling in from Laughlin, Nevada. Mark, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, Darryl and Chris, correct?
Yes.
Okay, are you guys veterans?
I am. I don't believe Darryl is.
No, I'm a conscientious objector.
Are you the one that was in prison?
No, neither of us. I think you're referring to Mark.
Neither. You're okay. Maybe it was the other guy that's not in the show tonight.
I may have been once taken into custody for, let me think, what was the charge? Crawling with intent to walk. I think that was the charge. But go ahead with your call.
Crawling? So you were under the influence?
I think I may have been. At least that's what the officer was saying after I spilled
that's my impression.
After
okay,
I
so
spilled
anyways,
the beer on his car. Yeah, go ahead.
So you do you guys honor this flag?
In what way?
In what way? The national anthem. Do you believe in kneeling at a frickin' NFL game?
Well, I believe in the right of every U.S. citizen to determine what level of patriotism, if any, they wish to exhibit. I believe that that's protected by our Constitution, and that's what I respect above anything else. So personally,
Okay,
go ahead.
I'm a veteran. I served for 6 years.
Me too.
And
Not 6.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said I did not serve for 6 years. I served for 4 years. But go ahead with your story.
Okay, thank you for your service, too.
Likewise.
Thank you for your service also.
Okay.
Continue with your thought, Mark.
Yeah.
I believe the people that don't honor our flag or stand at the national anthem with their hand on their heart should get the hell out and go to frickin' Canada or Venezuela.
Okay.
Are you going to use like the immigration services to remove me from this country?
I don't care about that. No. If they're illegals, they're illegals.
How about if they're not illegal, they're just U.S. citizens that don't feel compelled to put their hand over their heart or stand up during the national anthem? Or perhaps...
If they do or don't.
Well, let me give you another example. Let's say that they are Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah, screw them. I've had them come with a high tower to my front door, too.
So they should be deported out of this country to some place they've never been before?
Yeah.
So what are you trying... What are you trying to say?
You said that anybody that doesn't stand for the national anthem or say the Pledge of Allegiance should be sent to Canada or Venezuela. And we're asking about people that were born and raised in the United States that for various reasons don't stand for the national anthem or Pledge of Allegiance. Do you believe that they should be deported to a country that they've never been to?
Do they have visas?
I don't know. Yeah, it's a hypothetical question.
You're the one advocating that people be sent to other countries.
Well, they should be proud to be here in the first place because it was better where they came from.
I was born and raised in Alabama. I don't stand during the Pledge of Allegiance. Should I be sent to a country that I've never been to?
I'm sorry to hear that.
Should I be sent to a country that I've never been to?
A country? Yes. Now you're twisting this. No.
Canada and Venezuela are countries, Mark.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
I'm told that I am.
Okay, well, why would you say something like that?
Well, because there is no requirement for citizen, and I'm a veteran and I am a citizen, and I absolutely respect anybody's rights under the Constitution. And if you are a veteran, you took an oath to uphold, to defend, and protect the Constitution of the United States. And part of that Constitution is the First Amendment, which allows things like the KKK to march and to say hateful things, and it allows for people to not use their voice as a form of protest. Yes, it does.
Yeah, that's an arrogant question. The KKK, are you kidding? I think we should kill them.
Okay, well, then you don't really... It doesn't sound like you have much faith in the Constitution, despite
I do. I served
yourself...
our country for 6 freaking years.
Yeah,
yes, I do.
Thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Where should I be deported to? This is Free Talk Live. Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open the Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. You dial 911 and the police roll. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime, which is why I chose Blink. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
You have been lied to, generation after generation, time after time after time.
If you follow the money, then you understand why America's in the condition it's in.
You created the Federal Reserve in 1913 through lies. You create 9/11. Through 9/11, you're fighting a war on terror, and now all of a sudden you go into Iraq, which was another lie.
This book will open people's eyes. Order now at killingunclesambook.com. killingunclesambook.com.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to goberkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. goberkey.com.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
George, you can go this way. You can't do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me. Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa, hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video or audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today. This is...
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Chris.
And we've been talking about Donald Trump's apparent change of heart to where he now says that he's willing to meet with athletes that are either taking a knee or sitting during the playing of the national anthem. We'll get back into that. Plus your calls and thoughts welcome, 855-450-FREE. Now, in a somewhat sports-related thing, I will be running the New York City Marathon this November, and I'll be doing so as part of Team Innocence Project. The Innocence Project was the first legal organization to systematically apply DNA testing to cases of wrongful convictions as a powerful tool to reveal innocence. Tony Wright is a perfect example of the power of DNA in our relentless pursuit of justice. The Innocence Project litigated for nearly 6 years just to get court permission to do DNA testing in his case. He had been incarcerated for nearly 25 years in Pennsylvania and narrowly escaped the death penalty. And sadly, Tony's case is not unique. There have now been 356 people exonerated because of DNA evidence. The Innocence Project has helped with nearly 200 of those cases. And in total of those 356 DNA exonerees, they were wrongfully imprisoned for more than 4,875 years combined. With your help, the Innocence Project can help even more people who have been wrongly convicted. You can support the Innocence Project and help me secure my race entry by going to run.freetalklive.com. That's run.freetalklive.com.
Yes, and we have been talking about this CNN Politics story titled Trump Will Ask Athletes Who Kneel During the Anthem to Recommend People for Pardoning, and the president had kind of waffled back and forth whether he would say this, and then he would say, and while I'm at it, any athletes that don't stand don't love our country and they should just leave. On Friday, Trump said he won't ask basketball stars LeBron James or Stephen Curry or the respective teams, the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors, to the White House after the NBA Finals. And we have tip-off time for tonight's game starting
9 o'clock with the Golden State Warriors a 3-0 lead.
Wow.
And they're playing in Cleveland, so there's speculation that this could be LeBron James's last game in Cleveland as a Cavalier.
Interesting. Quote, I didn't invite LeBron James and I didn't invite Stephen Curry. We're not going to invite either team, but we have other teams that are coming. James, who has called the president, quote, a bum in the past, said Tuesday, no matter who wins this series, no one wants the invite, which Curry agreed with. Trump has rescinded the Warriors' invitation to celebrate their 2017 championship win after Curry was critical of Trump. But Trump boasted Friday of the other winning teams he's welcomed to the White House in the past, including the New England Patriots. He is friendly with the team's owner, Robert Kraft, and quarterback Tom Brady.
Right, so basically he invited his buddies.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, come check out my really cool crib.
Quote, I think we'll have the Caps. We'll see. Unquote.
That would be the Washington Capitals hockey team that just wound up beating the expansion Las Vegas Golden Knights.
They did, Trump said, referring to the Washington Capitals, which clinched the Stanley Cup Thursday night.
Lord Stanley's Cup. Now, see, I'm surprised he's inviting them because they have a trophy that is named after some British royalty. Lord Stanley.
But not Lord Stanley didn't burn down the White House, Darryl.
Not personally.
Right, so there you go. The president explained, quote...
Or maybe he did. I don't know.
The president explained, quote, my attitude, if they want to be here, it's the greatest place on earth. I'm here. If they don't want to be here, I don't want them, unquote.
And you're right, he did not burn down the White House because he was not serving in the Army during the War of 1812. Lord Stanley served from I saw the numbers here, 1862 to 1865. He was the 16th Earl of Derby.
Ah, the Earl of Derby. That just sounds like fun. And I always thought the greatest place on earth was Hershey Park, Pennsylvania, but I guess it depends on where you live. And maybe if you live in the White House, you feel that that is the greatest place on earth. I personally think of it as public housing.
Right. It is public housing, but if you go back and reread his statement of why he thinks it's the greatest place on earth.
I didn't. Go ahead.
He says, my attitude, if they want to be here, it's the greatest place on earth. I'm here.
Ah, there we go.
It's only the greatest place because he's there. When he wasn't living there, it wasn't the greatest place. Trump Tower was.
Yeah.
This man is an egomaniac.
Well, and to me, it brings up this, and I spent an awfully long time as a neocon. I was very much a strong conservative, and I'm talking since Reagan. I've always been a conservative because I believe that the best defense against socialism and the peril that it put our system of government in was socialism and communism. But now I realize that, when we put symbols and ideas like this ahead of our Constitution and the ideas that are protected there within, that's just as bad as communism. And I apologize if anybody's offended by that. But really, for those of you who are in the military or have been in the military, you took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution, and that means even those parts that you may not like when they're used inconveniently against you, in ways that you don't appreciate. So for me, I don't like to listen to the Ku Klux Klan giving speeches in the center of some park in some big town, but I know, and I don't like the Westboro Baptist Church.
Right.
I find them despicable, but they have this constitutionally protected right to do what they're doing, and that is a bigger idea than a flag, and it's a bigger idea than these petty assertions of nationalism. And folks, you're being duped.
Right.
I mean, these are the same tricks that were used by dictator after dictator to make you put your country and your politicians over what is important to you. What should be important to you is what made this country the country it is.
Right. And one thing that annoys me, and it's been going on for a couple of years, more so like the last 18 months, the people that have been having these supposed free speech rallies where it's basically they only want freedom for the bigots to speak. They don't want freedom for everybody to speak. Well, then you're not actually advocating for free speech. If you're only advocating rights for yourself, you don't support rights.
Yeah, and that's the insanity of this, and it really bothers me, and it's interesting that I can have these conversations with folks, friends of mine from the military who get it. Now, they may still be diehard Republicans,
right,
and they may never see a lot of issues the way I see them now as I've gotten older, but the one thing that I think a lot of them still get is the Constitution. If you like it, you hate it, whatever, it laid down a set of defenses for people. It set down limits on our government. It is meant to protect you and everybody else, even those people you do not agree with. And that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. I forgot to post this in the show prep group, Chris, so I'm just going to jump into it. We talked about this a while back, the social credit system in China.
Right.
And there's actually an update on this thing where apparently, according to Business Insider, China's social credit system has blocked people from taking 11.14 million flights and 4.25 million high-speed train trips. The numbers from the end of April were included in a report by China's state-run outlet, the Global Times, but it's unclear what offenses those targeted in the travel ban may have committed. The social credit system, Chris, you've heard of this thing before, correct?
Yes.
Can you explain it briefly? If not, I probably can.
Yeah. So the Chinese are implementing this idea of social credit, and different things would weigh into your score as a citizen. So, for example, your creditworthiness.
Sufficient patriotism?
Well, those are the things that they get into, but it starts off with basic things like, your credit score and maybe how trustworthy, have you ever had any felonies, and then it goes into your social media score and how patriotic are you and things like that. It's a very scary, scary thing.
Could this possibly come to America? Well, we'll talk about what's happening there in China, plus your calls and thoughts. 855-450-FREE.
It's a very confusing time in the financial markets, and nobody knows that better than financial markets analyst Doug Casey. Casey Research wants to send you a free copy of Doug's controversial new book about the stock market, our economy, and American politics. Warning, this book is not politically correct. Casey is known for his outspoken and brutally honest views. He once called global warming a political scam. He's made millions betting on investments seen as too controversial by the mainstream. In this new book, Casey reveals shocking predictions about hot issues like immigration, Russia, and the next stock superboom. Doug Casey is an investing legend. Find out where he's looking for gains in spaces like tech, even cryptocurrencies. But watch out, this book is simply too controversial for bookstores. Go to totallyincorrectoffer.com to get your free copy so you can see for yourself. Shipping and handling charges apply. But be warned, this material may be taken down at any time. Just go to totallyincorrectoffer.com. That's www.totallyincorrectoffer.com. totallyincorrectoffer.com.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Friday, June 8th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.79 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,299 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $22, and the average price of Bitcoin is $7,552. Antiwar.com reports Afghan President Ashraf Ghani has announced an unconditional ceasefire on Thursday, vowing no attacks will take place against the Taliban for the duration of Ramadan, ending on the Eid celebration on June 20th. This comes amid reports of secret peace talks ongoing in Afghanistan. While no one seems to agree how far these talks have progressed, the ceasefire is the first Ghani has confirmed since taking power in 2014. U.S. Commander General John Nicholson has confirmed that the U.S. will also comply with the ceasefire with respect to the Taliban. They say that offensives against other militants will continue unchanged. NATO has also endorsed the plan, urging both sides to seek more peace talks. NATO's position makes it somewhat surprising that the U.S. is on board, as President Trump has been very publicly opposed to talks with the Taliban. That said, it would be difficult for the U.S. to totally spurn a ceasefire called by their allies. This means it remains an open question how closely the U.S. will comply with it and how many times they attack Taliban, claiming that they thought they were the Islamic State or some other faction. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a judge on Thursday sentenced a former Baltimore Police Department officer convicted of committing a host of crimes to 25 years in prison. U.S. District Court Judge Catherine C. Blake sentenced former Gun Trace Task Force Sergeant Wayne Jenkins to the 25-year sentence for his role as a leader of a police corruption ring, according to the Baltimore Sun. Jenkins pled guilty in January to a number of charges that included racketeering and robbery in an agreement that capped his possible prison time at 30 years. Jenkins inflicted immeasurable harm by stealing drugs on a near-daily basis for years, helping commit robberies, and charging overtime pay for time he did not work, according to Assistant U.S. Attorney Leo Weiss. The 37-year-old former ringleader of a corrupt police unit sobbed during his testimony as he apologized to Baltimore residents. Jenkins said, "I know it's my fault. I know I have to be punished." He specifically apologized to the family of Albert Davis, a man killed in a 2010 high-speed car chase that started when Jenkins and a pair of officers suddenly approached two men who later said that they thought they were being robbed. The men crashed during the chase, killing Davis. Jenkins said Thursday police planted drugs in their car, a fact that he had previously covered up. His colleagues Marcus Taylor and Daniel Herschel on the Gun Trace Task Force were convicted in February on federal charges of racketeering, robbery, and overtime fraud. In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores. Reuters reports a divided Mississippi Supreme Court ruled on Thursday that some local judges acted unconstitutionally by banning people with enhanced concealed carry licenses from taking guns into the courthouse. The court said judges of the 14th Chancery District, which includes 6 counties in east central Mississippi, exceeded their authority under the state constitution because only the legislature could regulate or forbid the carrying of concealed weapons. Justice Michael Randolph wrote for a 5-justice Supreme Court majority, "The orders at issue usurp that power. No matter how well-intentioned, judges are without power to limit enhanced concealed carry licensees' rights to carry a firearm beyond courtrooms in the state of Mississippi." A 2011 law allowed people with enhanced concealed carry licenses to take firearms into Mississippi state courthouses, though judges could ban the weapons from the courtroom. Ricky Ward, a firearms instructor, had challenged the broader ban in the 14th Chancery District. He appealed after its judges noted that the district's courthouses were built many years ago and not designed to properly secure courtrooms. 2 dissenting justices from Thursday's decision found the broader ban unconstitutional. 2 other justices partially dissented, saying the ban appeared overbroad, but that a narrower version might pass muster. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Today's most popular video games take place in dangerous post-apocalyptic landscapes. But are these games doing enough to prepare our kids for the actual post-apocalyptic future we will all soon face?
I think these games are quite effective at teaching our kids skills like finding shotgun ammo and leading elite squads of super soldiers.
But these aren't the advanced skills that they're going to need. They're going to need the more practical skills like how to find drinking water by collecting the morning dew in human skulls.
Or how to deal with depression when the sun is blocked out for 500 years by a cloud of radioactive dust.
Absolutely. Now, that's the type of knowledge these kids are going to need when their world has been turned into a brutal hellscape.
But these kids said that they know how to find items to barter at weapon shops and how to use medicine packs to heal zombie bites.
The games make it all seem deceptively simple. I mean, in the future, a kid's not going to be able to kill a 6-foot-long irradiated beetle just by pressing a few buttons, and he's going to have to get down there with an axe and hack and hack and hack.
This is the Onion News Network.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That's how you can call in and join us here as we start our number 3. The us in studio is Darryl.
And Chris.
And we started telling you this story out of China, where the social credit system that is in place there in China, which basically it's a way for the Chinese government to determine who is and is not worthy of various things, such as flying somewhere or getting on a train. The social credit system has blocked 11.14 million flights and 4.25, or rather, people from 11.14 million flights and 4.25 million train trips. The social credit system there in China is actually, from Business Insider, they describe it as a collection of blacklists, of which there are more than a dozen at the national level. Each list is based on similar offenses, such as misbehavior on planes and trains, or failing to abide by a court judgment.
Hold on, only a dozen blacklists?
More than a dozen.
More than a dozen. I guarantee you I'm on a dozen blacklists in the U.S.
Hold on. Let me explain how words work here.
Don't trouble yourself.
More than a dozen could mean as few as 13.
I know, Darryl.
Or
here
up
we meet
to infinity.
Thank you, pedantic Darryl. Here's where Darryl becomes pedantic because we said something that could be taken in 2 different ways.
Right, but...
I know, Darryl.
Let's look at some of the, to sort of divert here, some of the numbers that American tech companies are allowed to give. They can't say we received 314 requests from, the FISA courts.
Right.
They can say we received between 0 and 500.
Right. That's a big, huge range. Right. And the Department of Defense does that too when it talks about casualty counts. It was like, more than 1,001, but less than 5,000, for example, or things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and we talked last night about how they broadly define suspected insurgent as everyone other than a woman or a child.
Yeah. Yeah.
More from this. Again, these more than a dozen blacklists at the Chinese national level. They're all based off of similar offenses: misbehavior on a plane or a train, failing to abide by a court judgment, and those determine the punishment that individuals face, from throttling internet speeds to blocking loans. While it's not made clear which list has had so many plane and train trips blocked, a former official is quoted as saying that the system needs to be improved so that, quote, discredited people become bankrupt.
Okay, so Darryl, this is communist China, for God's sake. I mean, why are we even surprised by this? This type of thing must happen over there. The secret police must have tons of lists. It's not like here in America we would...
Oh, the no-fly list that nobody really knows how they wind up on or how to get off of, and there have been 5-year-olds that just happen to have the same name.
Okay, maybe you got me on that one, but the fact is, folks, that there are lots of lists maintained by the U.S. government on its own citizens, and you don't know whether you're not on one of those or not. There was just another one announced recently where it was people that are, quote, very active in social media, are loud voices and in the press and things like that, because those people need to be keep tracked of. And, you know, Darryl and I right now are hosting a nationally syndicated radio show. We're on over 190 different stations. We're on 3 satellites covering 3 or 4 different continents. I'm not sure, but I'm guessing that might make the media requirement for that particular list.
We're definitely media, yes.
Right. I'm also someone who has attended many, many rallies, as I know Darryl has, on things that may have been contrary to the popular opinions held in Washington, D.C. by some politicians.
Yes.
And I have certainly spoken up.
We're both former political candidates.
True. Yep. Former political candidates. We've, in my case, I mean, I've sent lots of letters to many politicians voicing my displeasure.
Letters? Those are dangerous. Somebody could get a paper cut.
But I will say that some of those have been rather pointed, and I don't really speak as cautiously as I may do here on the airwaves when writing a letter to my representatives.
Let's go to the Skype where we've got Gary calling in. Gary, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Oh, hello. I'm still in China. I'm due back in about a week and a half to the States.
Wow.
And I just heard you say something about, well, I've been here 7 months. I heard something about you. You said about the blacklist over here. I'd never heard of it, but I suppose it exists. But there was a friend of mine who tried to open a bank account. He's from abroad. Mm-hmm. And they told him, you're on a no-fly list in the States, so we can't give you a bank account because of his name, but it didn't tie up with his passport number. So he just went to another bank and they opened it for him. But he went through a lot of hassle.
Right. It's interesting that the Chinese were able to know that he was on a no-fly list, but he may not have known that he was on a no-fly list.
That's exactly right. But he's not from the States anyway. But it seems to affect people worldwide because now, like in the sort of banking places like Hong Kong, they have to apply. They have to abide by the Patriot Act in order to have a bank account now. So they've gotten very strict.
Yeah.
But the main reason I was calling was about this standing up for the anthem thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I kind of feel, it's a person's right under the Constitution, free speech, and if they want to stand, they can stand. If they don't want to stand, that's their right. We have no right to tell them they have to stand. I mean, I'm a veteran too, and even though I see people not standing, I kind of feel a little bit awkward about it.
Right.
I kind of feel like if we take their free speech away, then what about our free speech? You know, if they can take anybody's speech away and their right to protest, then they can take everybody's away. You can't sort of like just, put people in boxes and say, you can do this and you can't do that,
Right.
And these people who say, well, you have to be deported or you lose your citizenship and all this junk. I mean, that's just a load of nonsense. Let's face it, this country was founded on European principles from Europe. After they come over and wiped out a lot of natives and stuff like that, they just the Supreme Court made a decision that the right of discovery superseded the right of ownership. And, and they broke treaties and stuff with these people and then considered them not even human beings for a long time, including blacks. And these people have had to struggle for a long time to get anywhere in this country. It's diabolical, I think. Everybody, I think libertarians would agree that it's diabolical to treat people that way and expect them to have to, cops go around beating and bullying people the way they do. Some of the stuff that the arrests make are justified, but there's a lot that's really unjustified.
Sure, and I think that's a key tenet of the kind of law we respect is that you have your day in court, and if a prosecutor can convince a judge or jury that X was done, that's fine. But don't just base it on the color of someone's skin or just because you need to make a quota.
Right.
Yeah. A Buddhist master told me here, he said, when you see another nationality or another person's face, you see your own face. And I thought that was just the most amazing thing I'd ever heard,
Yeah. Well put.
Gary, any final thoughts?
Well, that's all I wanted to say.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
I listen to you guys every day, and I appreciate you being there for us. Thank you.
Thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Jumping back into the article here from Business Insider, the blacklist that's being referred to by the former official is referred to most likely involve debtors and was created by the Supreme People's Court in an attempt to make people comply with verdicts and repay their debts. The court publishes the names and ID numbers of debtors on its website. They are banned from plane and high-speed train travel and can't stay at 4- or 5-star hotels, send their children to expensive schools, book cheap hire cars, or make luxury online purchases. There's more from this, plus your calls and thoughts. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
From the sixth letter of Captain Mark. A pirate's life is characterized by voluntary interactions. Unfortunately, the Crown presses everyone into involuntary servitude. Landlubbers believe slavery was abolished years ago, but the Crown still claims to own us when it crimps us into service against our will. Given sufficient ambition, it would gladly draft thousands of hapless victims to kill or be killed. It's simply slavery by another name. Landlubbers are routinely commanded to serve the so-called justice system in jury duty. But before you swell with civic pride, consider that how you feel is irrelevant to the Crown. You will appear as ordered or face punitive measures. The Crown insists that you participate in your own oppression. A jury summons provides pirates with a unique opportunity to obstruct injustices. A juror can vote not guilty, even if it's proven the law was violated. A juror can acquit for any reason at all, and not even a judge can reverse that verdict. Receiving a jury summons is basically winning the sedition lottery. But if you reveal that you know this during jury selection, you'll probably be dismissed. If the Crown foolishly crimps a pirate into jury duty, it behooves the pirate to conceal their intention to nullify unjust laws. If a master takes 100% of your labor, it's called slavery. But if they only take 50%, they call it taxation. A difference of degree, not of kind. Whether the Crown claims a fortune or a cent is irrelevant. Most of all, a slave owner desires contented slaves, meaning thoughtless ones that accept their bondage. These house slaves see no contradiction in being drafted in a war to end slavery or summoned to a jury to prosecute tax evasion. An ideal slave knows no higher call than the master's will. The Crown's highest ambition is that its slaves revere the authority that subjugates them. But the Crown does not own me. I will not surrender my time and treasure to the Crown's ambitions. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website, fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper, FPP News, at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio, it's Darryl.
And Chris.
And how would you like to get a pretty good home protection system? One that allows you to actually wind up remotely looking at your house using wireless cameras installed at your house. Because after all, the point of a good home security system is to alert you before something happens, not after. And that's where the Blink security cameras come in. Again, the Blink cameras are wireless and the setup is super easy. Even if you have a complicated router system and you're not technically inclined, you should be able to get this set up in about 10 to 15 minutes. And Blink's live feed option lets you monitor your home from your smartphone, or you can wind up getting notified when something moves in front of these wireless cameras. And there's no subscription and no contracts. Here's the deal. You get 3 Blink security cameras for way less than what the other guys would charge, and you get an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL. All one word here, blinkprotect.com/FTL. So we've been talking about the social credit system in China that Business Insider reports has blocked people from taking over 11 million flights and 4 million train trips. Again, there are at least a dozen various blacklists that are compiled together in this social credit system that helps determine what punishments might be for individuals who have been bad boys or girls. Again, some of the punishments could just be that you're not allowed to get on a plane or a train, or maybe you can't stay at a 4 or 5-star hotel. You can't send your children to an expensive school. You can't book cheap hire cars. You can't make luxury purchases online, or maybe you can't take out a loan.
A couple other examples. Another story talks about is the exact methodology is a secret, but examples of infractions include bad driving, smoking in non-smoking zones, buying too many video games, and posting fake news online.
Fake news. Oh, you mean like when the official state media wound up running an Onion article about Kim Jong-un being named sexiest man alive?
For example, yes, that might be a good example. Yeah, it's insanity, and mark my words, we are going to see this in the United States. There is going to be something that has the same stench of the Chinese social credit score that is going to be foisted upon U.S. citizens, and it will be government sponsored.
And my fear is that a lot of libertarians, and I'm using air quotes there for those playing at home, will wind up taking it hook, line, and sinker if it's put on a blockchain, because everything with a blockchain's wonderful, right, Chris? Blockchain-powered drones that wind up, artificial AI that just enforces all of these smart contracts. You clicked agree. You didn't read the 7,000 pages of what you agreed to on the terms of service, but you clicked agree.
Libertarians and blockchains it's like the Portlandia episode where put a bird on it. Like the solution to like how to sell anything was just put a bird on it.
Oh, so it's like when you go down south, you just put Sea Rock City. Doesn't matter what the thing is that you're selling, just write on there Sea Rock City and people will buy it.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yep. That's exactly right, because we are base stupid animals at some level.
Continuing on with the article here, some Chinese provinces play a recorded message when someone tries to call a blacklisted debtor, informing the caller that the person they want to speak with has an outstanding debt. And in May of this year, a short cartoon with the photograph of debtors' faces began playing at movie theaters, on buses, and on public notice boards with a voiceover that says, Come here, look at these debtors. It's a person who borrows money and doesn't pay it back.
Wow.
We also talked about, I forget which province in China it was, where they're using facial recognition to wind up not just flashing the names and faces of people up on what they refer to here as public notice boards, but also to then instantly send someone a violation for jaywalking.
Yeah.
To where they get this violation sent to them via SMS.
Right.
Or what we in the U.S. would refer to as a text message.
Right. Yeah, and these types of things, I mean, it's obtrusive government at its worst, but I know people in America are going to be surprised when they start getting jaywalking texts and then get a charge assigned to it, but it's going to be the same sort of thing.
Right, and
we're going to have it.
Just think, we don't necessarily have you get an automated text for jaywalking, but what happens if you drive through one of those toll booths? You wind up getting something sent to your house.
You're guilty.
Almost instantly.
Yeah, because they have a camera. They can identify your vehicle. They can identify oftentimes that you were driving it. And that's it. That's it. And this is the problem when you automate law enforcement or automate these types of things, that there is no one to question. You cannot claim that you weren't doing it when they have your picture. And these are the types of things that led to us having protections put into our Constitution to prevent. Yet here they are.
Right. And we could go on about how easy it is to manipulate photographs and video to make it look like somebody that wasn't even there was there and did the thing. But continuing with this article, the list of debtors launched in late 2013 with 31,259 names, and within 2 weeks had been visited 180,000 times. By December 2017, so we're talking 6-7 months ago, 8.8 million debtors had been added to the list, preventing 8.7 million flights and 3.4 million high-speed train trips. With nearly 2.5 million trips banned in the last 6 months, China has either cracked down on existing debtors, plane travel, or many more names have been added to the blacklist. Since the debtor list was first created, state media reports repeatedly described it as the first step towards creating a China-wide social credit score, expected to be fully rolled out by 2020.
Yeah, and a lot of people are going to hop on that going, okay, well, it's good. It's like a credit history. I can find out who's a bum and who's not a bum. Well, again, listen to the things that they're talking about. He smoked in a non-smoking section. He drove his car in a way that was not
wow, it's almost
friendly.
like some of those background checks that people in the U.S. have to go through for basically anything.
True.
And with everything being illegal, everybody has a record of some sort.
Right.
And yes, I realize not everybody has a record, but it's such a high percentage to where it might as well be everybody has something on their record. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. What are your thoughts on this? This is Free Talk Live.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Are you sick of government lackeys who say you didn't build that? Are you tired of elitists who think you need a government permission slip for everything? Everything you do is an A to B conversation, and the government should see their way out of it. Create true free markets by adopting the BIPCOT No Government License. The BIPCOT No Gov license allows use or modification of any product, service, or software except by governments or government agents. Go to BIPCOT.org. That's Bravo, India, Papa, Charlie, Oscar, Tango.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That's how you can call in toll free to join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Darryl.
And Chris.
And if you do like the show, and there are a bunch of people that do like the show, consider joining the AMP program. AMP is short for Advertise, Market, and Promote. Chris, you mentioned earlier that we're on about 190 radio stations. We could be on about 190 more.
Right.
We just need to be able to advertise, market, and promote the show to the decision makers that wind up making those decisions to put us on those radio stations. And your money helps us do that. amp.freetalklive.com. That's amp.freetalklive.com. And it's not just you giving us money. There are perks. There's an ad-free version of the podcast. There's an AMP-only room in the Discord, I think.
Yep.
There's AMP sections in the forums. There's an AMP-only Facebook group. And probably things that I can't even remember that amplifiers get. amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to, speaking of the Discord, let's go to Christian Anarchist calling in on the Discord call-in line. Gene, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hi, guys. You were talking about laws earlier, and that's one thing that really pushes my button, is all the laws that exist today that didn't exist when I was young.
Yes.
There's so many more, and so many more ways for young people to get caught up in the correctional system. And of course, all that's changed too. Back in my day when you got in the correctional system, generally you were not recognized if you would move to another state. In other words, you could move from Reno, Nevada to Boston or something, and you would basically be able to start over. There would be really no record in Boston of the trouble you got into in Reno.
Right.
So people actually had a chance to put their lives back together in the old days. Now, no matter what you do, your record follows you everywhere you go. And like you say, there's a bazillion laws out there.
Yep.
So there's no way to get over that. And
yeah.
So it's way worse than what it was. I mean, it's 1,000 times worse than what it was when I was a kid, as far as the number of laws and the amount of trouble you can get in.
Yeah, and one of my favorite, for those of you who are on Twitter, first of all, follow me at C. Rietman, CRIETMANN at Twitter. I do love Twitter because it's just greatly reduced the amount of time I spend on social media. But if you're over there, go to @CrimeAday to understand some of the ridiculousness that's out there. So yesterday's, and I usually retweet these because they're pretty funny, but it's against federal crime for a cat exhibitor to acquire a cat and not hold on to it for at least 5 days.
I don't even know what that means.
It doesn't matter, but under 7 U.S.C. Section 219D and 9 CFR Section 2101A, it makes it a federal crime. So here's a law that nobody knows what it is. Nobody could even really say what it means, but you could violate that. And now you violated federal law. What sense is this?
Not only that, but there's a federal law that says that you can't violate a law in another country that we have a treaty with. So if there's a country, and there was a specific example given on this YouTube by this lawyer guy, and I forget all the details, but it was something like in Guatemala, there's a law against having some kind of blowfish or something. So if you wound up having that blowfish in this country, even though there's no federal law against it, you're still in violation of federal law because you violated the laws in that country that we have a treaty with. I mean, it's
right.
So absurd, and it's such an octopus of tangled tentacles that can just grab you by the throat and drag you down. I don't know how anybody can say they're free in this country anymore. I mean, it just,
right.
To me, it makes
right.
Isn't there even a federal law that makes it a federal crime to go to another country and commit something that is in violation of American law, even if it's not in violation of the other country?
I don't know. I'm sure there is.
I think that specifically applies to prostitution-related offenses. Or at least that was something being discussed in Congress a few years ago, because there was, like some high-level person that went to another country and hired prostitutes, and they're like, but he shouldn't be able to, so we're going to pass a law saying that he can't do that.
Every time somebody brings up something ridiculous, I do love just going to this page, hit my scroll button a couple times, and then pull up something like a certain federal makes it a federal crime to bring an ass with swamp fever across state lines unless you're taking it home to a research facility or to be killed. We've got a law on our books making it a federal crime to bring a donkey with swamp fever across state lines. So what does anything surprise me?
Interstate commerce. Here's what, May 30th, they cite at least 3, if not 4, different things that makes it a crime to sell, quote, excessively tart canned pineapple without saying that it is excessively tart on the label.
Well, I'm sure there's a federal definition of what defines excessively tart pineapple.
There's also a prohibition against selling provolone cheese that doesn't have a quote-unquote stringy texture.
And by this, you mean there is a federal law that if convicted, you will be guilty of a federal crime for selling provolone cheese that doesn't have a adequate level of stringiness to it.
Yes. Now, I don't know if this is a violation level, a misdemeanor, a felony.
Usually they spell it out. Usually they do say federal crime. Go ahead, Gene. I'm sorry.
You'll notice also how lately everything is escalated. They take a lower crime and they try to escalate into a larger crime. And the one that's really jumped out at me lately is how they're calling every kind of prostitution human
trafficking.
Human trafficking. So now every prostitution ring in the country, when they bust them, they're busting them for human trafficking. Well, there's these girls. I mean, a lot of these girls. I'm sure some of these girls are being forced into it, but most of these girls are in it because they're desperate. They need money, and they don't have any other way to make money.
Right.
So they've made a conscious decision to be part of this world's oldest profession.
Right.
And possibly some of these girls are 17. That makes it a child, a child, whatever they call it.
Yeah. We've had a long war on sex workers too. And that's one thing, that some people choose sex work as a way of life.
People are misusing the term pedophile, because pedophile means, if you look up the medical definition, it means having sex with a prepubescent person. It's not somebody who's 17 years old, unless you can find a 17-year-old who's prepubescent. And there's probably not very many of those out there.
Yeah.
So they're constantly twisting the definition of things to make it sound worse and to increase the penalties of it.
Yeah, and the broader net catches up the youth that it's supposed to protect. So, there have been a number of cases where let's say a 15-year-old girl sent a picture of herself naked to a 17-year-old boy, where they're both minors, and now charges are coming about and variations of that same theme.
Child porn, then.
The most egregious example that I can think of is the 16-year-old, I don't want to say boy, but the 16-year-old guy from Virginia that was convicted as an adult of possessing child pornography because he had a naked photo of himself on his cell phone.
Yeah.
Gene, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Your calls or thoughts welcome about whatever is on your mind. This is Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
This is a warning to all household pests, to all cockroaches, spiders, ants, mice, and rats. If you've made yourself at home in someone else's home, you'd better hope the owners never hear about Terminix, because Terminix has the know-how and the means to do whatever it takes to remove you from that home. Terminix has 90 years of experience eliminating home invaders, and they make it easy for homeowners to be protected by offering a free pest estimate by calling 1-800-676-9879. Cockroaches, spiders, ants, mice, rats, and other pests. This is your last chance. With one call, Terminix will remove you from the home you've invaded. If you think you can simply come back later, think again. Terminix will never stop working to keep you out with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Pests. Wherever you are, I will find you. Pests, you've been warned. Homeowners are calling Terminix right now for a free pest estimate. 1-800-676-9879. 1-800-676-9879. 30-day money-back guarantee at participating locations. Limitations apply. See plan for details.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855 450 free. That's how you can call in and join us here in the closing moments of this episode of Free Talk Live. 855-450-3733. The us in studio tonight is Darryl
and Chris.
And how would you like to save some money on things that you were likely going to wind up buying anyway? Because admit it, everybody buys stuff online, right? Well, that is, everybody that uses the internet buys things online, and a lot of those things wind up getting bought through Amazon. So why not try to save some money? Well, go to saveatpurse.com. That's saveatpurse.com, all one word, saveatpurse.com. and just use the search function that they have and add things into your shopping cart from Amazon. Now, they've made it easier. You used to need an Amazon account, put things into an Amazon wish list, import the wish list. All of that has been removed. Just add things to your cart and then select the discount that you want. You only want to save 5%? I say only 5%. That's, the minimum percentage that you get there at saveatpurse.com, and that's using what they call instant buy, or you can get up to 33% off. And some people would say, so what's the catch? What's the catch, Darryl? Well, I would say there's not a catch. You get to use Bitcoin. Some people would see that as you have to use Bitcoin. But you use cryptocurrency to fund the account. Saveatpurse.com. You save, people get their hands on cryptocurrency, and everybody at the end of the day winds up happy. Saveatpurse.com.
Nice. So, Darryl, we've been talking silly laws.
Yes, we have.
Shall we mix it up and talk about a cop who gets to spend 25 years in jail?
Sure. What'd he do?
Why not? Judge sentences former Baltimore cop to 25 years. And I think a lot of our listeners will remember the case of the investigation into Baltimore's gun trace task force.
Yes.
And this particular group has been involved in racketeering charges, robbery, all kinds of things. And earlier, a judge on Thursday sentenced a former Baltimore Police Department officer convicted of committing a host of crimes to 25 years in prison. U.S. District Court Judge Catherine C. Blake sentenced former Gun Trace Task Force Sergeant Wayne Jenkins to the 25-year sentence for his role in leading of a police corruption ring, the Baltimore Sun reported. Jenkins pleaded guilty in January to a number of charges that included racketeering and robbery in an agreement that capped his possible prison time at 30 years.
Now, for people that might not be familiar with this Gun Trace Task Force,
yep.
If I remember correctly, Jenkins and several other officers admitted back when they wound up pleading guilty earlier this year, they admitted to having planted weapons on people. They admitted to having planted drugs on people. And basically doing all kinds of things that violate their oath of office.
Yeah, and people, and you had a lot of police apologists who quickly, hopped up when this first came out and said, okay, you got a couple bad apples, in a department the size of Baltimore, you're going to have a few bad apples. But as more and more information came out about this, we found out that it was much more systemic, that these guys had been doing this for decades.
Oh, plus they were committing overtime fraud by charging the city for overtime that they never actually worked.
Well, yeah, and compared to putting an innocent person in jail, that to me pales in comparison. You stole some taxpayer money by lying on your timesheet. How about the 50 or 100 lives you ruined, you put behind bars when there wasn't any evidence, or because you planted evidence?
Or Elbert Davis, who's mentioned in this article down a little bit, where Elbert Davis was killed in a high-speed car chase in 2010 that started when Jenkins and a pair of officers suddenly approached two men who the man that survived said, "We thought we were about to be robbed.
Right.
We didn't know that there were cops coming up on us. We thought that you were going to jump us and rob us.
Yeah.
That's why we took off."
Yeah, and that was a common tactic used by them, and they weren't going in frequently until they were inside, telling them that they're police officers. It wasn't just guns. It wasn't just money. It was drugs that they would then sell to either drug gangs or other corrupt police officials who would then sell them to other drug dealers and things like that. It was just insane. A 37-year-old former ringleader of a corrupt police unit sobbed during his testimony as he apologized to Baltimore residents. Quote, I know it's my fault. I know I have to be punished, unquote, Jenkins said. Jenkins specifically apologized to the family of Albert Davis, a man killed in a 2010 high-speed car chase that started with Jenkins and a pair of officers suddenly approached two men who later said they thought they were being robbed. The men crashed during the chase and killed Davis. Police planted drugs in their car, a fact that Jenkins covered up, he said Thursday. His colleagues on the Gun Trace Task Force, Marcus Taylor and Daniel Herschel, were convicted in February on federal crimes of racketeering, robbery, and overtime fraud. And it's just really sad. Baltimore makes me sad, and I love the town. I lived in Maryland for years. Baltimore was a destination that we would go to, on the weekends. We would go there for, going out to bars and hearing live music. And I can't tell you how many years I went to the Preakness Stakes, which is in one of the worst parts of Baltimore. It's the second jewel in horse racing's Triple Crown. We would go there, and it was such a great time. But just over the years of going there, I could just see the people being beaten down. Yeah. And it's a tragedy.
So trying to find out a little bit more on this Gun Trace Task Force, like I said, we covered it somewhat in depth several months ago when this came to light. An article from Vox from February of this year says that 8 of the 9 members of the now defunct Gun Trace Task Force have been charged with crimes that amount to massive abuses of power and repeated violations of constitutional rights of people in Baltimore. 6 pled guilty. 2 others were convicted of federal charges. The 2 convicted of federal charges, again, Marcus Taylor, Daniel Herschel. I'm curious who the one member of the defunct Gun Trace Task Force is that was not charged with a crime.
He would be the guy who ratted
8 of 9 members of this task force.
Right. What happened to the other guy? The other guy's the rat. The other guy is the one who turned everybody in, struck a plea deal, and is probably likely, I'm speculating here, as guilty as the rest of them, but somebody gets off if they turn on everybody else.
Yeah, the article here from Vox says the task force, as its name might suggest, was originally meant to get guns and violent criminals off the streets. In an investigation spanning over the past few years, federal officials uncovered a team fueled by corruption. The officers in the unit set people up for baseless charges. They robbed people. They carried toy guns to plant as fake evidence in cases where they killed an unarmed person. They clocked overtime when they weren't working at all. As then U.S. Attorney for Maryland, now Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, put it at the time of the indictment, quote, "This is not about aggressive policing. It's about a criminal conspiracy. These are really simply robberies by people wearing police uniforms." Again, that's a quote from the now Deputy Attorney General.
Yep.
When he says it, oh, well, he's just being tough on crime. When you and I say it, Chris, we hate cops.
Right. We're not patriotic.
Yeah.
We probably don't stand for the national anthem,
I need to be deported to a country that I've never been to, apparently. And
you're still hung up on that whole, they want you deported, Darryl. Just
you put a poll up in the Discord.
Venezuela or Canada.
What are the results?
It ended up being Venezuela, but somebody accused me of being racist because I couldn't think of a good icon for Venezuela, so I put a taco.
Yeah, they don't have tacos in Venezuela.
I don't know.
Because Nicolas Maduro ate the only empanada in the country because they don't have food.
That would have been a good, I should have said it was an empanada. It was not meant as a racial slur. It was
right.
Meant
You were
as
just thinking of what's some
a Latin food. Right. I don't know.
Tamales and empanadas. And you did see the video of Nicolas Maduro. He thought the cameras were off.
No.
And he takes a big, huge bite out of this big, giant empanada. The people are starving.
Yes.
And he's eating empanadas on national television. We're out of time for tonight, but we'll be back tomorrow as we are every night. And we're always online at freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM